Ever feel like you have a great idea, but you just can't get people on board? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into Harry Mills' The Art of Persuasion. We're going to break down his best strategies into a framework you can use like today. So let's jump right in. Okay, first things first, let's blow up a huge myth right now. Persuasion is not about manipulating people, it's not about forcing them to do what you want. Mills is super clear on this. It's about sparking a real desire inside someone, turning your idea into their action. See the difference? It's about building a partnership, not just winning some kind of battle.
So that leads us to the big question, right? What is real persuasion then? Well, think of it as a skill for creating positive influence in honestly every single part of your life.
Yeah, the whole goal here is positive influence. We're not talking about manipulation. It's all about building better relationships, finding those win-win solutions where everybody feels good about the outcome. When you start thinking about it that way, persuasion becomes this amazing tool for connection, not for control. Totally different mindset. And that brings us to the first and maybe the most important foundation, building trust. Look, this is the absolute bedrock. Everything else we talk about today is built on top of this. It's simple, really. If someone doesn't trust you, you've got no shot at persuading them. Period. Okay, so how do you actually build that trust? It's not magic. Mills lays out 3 really powerful actions. Number 1, be honest. Just be straight with people, transparent. Number 2, show empathy. And I mean, really try to see things from their side. And number 3, be consistent. Your actions have to match your words, not just today, but tomorrow and the next day. It sounds simple, but man, it is so crucial. You know, a huge part of showing that empathy comes down to active listening. And let's be real, this isn't just staying quiet while you think about what you're going to say next. No, it's about giving someone your complete attention, using positive body language so they know you're engaged, and then, this is key, rephrasing what they said back to them to make sure you got it right. If you can master just this one skill, it's a total game changer. All right, so with trust as our solid foundation, we can now open up what I like to call the Persuader's Toolkit. Let's dig into the 2 core drivers that, believe it or not, shape pretty much every decision a human being makes. And here they are. It's emotion and logic, the heart and the mind. You appeal to the heart with things like compelling stories, stuff that connects to what people actually value. And you appeal to the mind with the hard stuff, right? Evidence, data, statistics. The real magic, the most powerful persuasion, happens when you can hit both of these at the same time. And Mills really doubles down on this point about emotion. He says, impactful stories can be more persuasive than numbers or abstract facts. And it's so true, isn't it? A really good story creates an emotional hook that a spreadsheet full of data just can't. It helps people feel why your idea matters. The last tool in this part of the kit is the language itself. And this is a big one. The specific words you choose, they matter a lot. You want to frame your ideas using positive, collaborative language. Talk about the benefits, the opportunities, what we can gain together. That approach invites people in, instead of immediately putting them on the defensive. Okay, so we've got the foundation of trust, and we've got our tools, logic, and emotion. But how does this stuff actually work out in the real world? I mean, how do you adapt your strategy when you go from a business meeting to, say, a chat with your family? Well, as you can see here, persuasion isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. It adapts. In business, it's all about doing your homework and being flexible so you can find that win-win. In marketing, it's about hitting that emotional chord to create desire. And in your personal life, man, it's often way more powerful to just ask good questions instead of barking orders, right? You guide people to find the answer themselves. The technique might change, but those core ideas of trust and understanding, they're always there. All right, let's get into some of the more advanced stuff. We're going to peel back one final layer and look at the deep psychology behind why all these tools are so incredibly powerful. So here's a question. Why do we follow the crowd so often? Well, there's a name for it. It's a powerful psychological shortcut called social proof. Basically, our brains are wired to think that if a ton of other people are doing something, it's probably the right thing to do. I mean, think about it. Product reviews, what your friends recommend. We rely on social proof to make decisions literally every single day. This next one is so important. Sometimes what you say is way less important than when you say it. Timing is everything. Trying to persuade someone who's stressed out or distracted, that's just a recipe for failure. But if you can catch them when they're relaxed and open, or even better, find a strategic moment when they're already thinking about making a change, that can make all the difference in the world. And what about charisma? It can seem like this magical quality that some people are just born with, but Mills argues it's something you can actually build. It comes from having real confidence in your own message and then being able to paint a picture, a vision that genuinely inspires other people to get on board. They follow because they trust where you're headed. So, as we start to wrap this up, let's pull everything together. We've talked about trust, empathy, logic, emotion, timing, and it all points back to this one central goal: building sustainable, long-term influence. See, real persuasion isn't about scoring a quick win. It's about creating lasting relationships built on a foundation of transparency and mutual respect. So look, we've gone over a really powerful toolkit today, but honestly, it's useless unless you actually put it to work. So I'm going to leave you with a question to think about. Armed with everything you've just learned about trust, empathy, positive influence, what is the first conversation you are going to change? Really think about that. Thanks so much for joining me for this breakdown.